Alright guys, we're fresh off the plane, back in Orlando. Been up since like, I guess 1 a.m. if you want to count all the time change stuff. But we had a layover in Toronto coming from Brussels, and we're back in Orlando. And Bub leaves, I think, tomorrow morning to go do some FD stuff. So we're gonna go straight over to Injuku and check what's up with the S15. Good old America, never lets me down. I'm gonna miss the Germany crew. We definitely had a lot of fun, even though kind of the trip played out in a way that none of us expected. Good old E85, girl, show me. Low fuel, half a tank. The last manual car I drove was our rental diesel, so this thing is sick right now. I'm liking it. Got my Chipotle and I'm heading off to Injuku. Starving, haven't eaten all day. Hi, we're back at Injuku. Once again, me and Bub are in full zombie mode. I have been up since like 1 a.m. Eastern time. Bub has not been getting sleep because he's been going hard in the S15.
That's what I do.
Do you hate me today like you did in the other video?
Sure, just as much, maybe a little bit more.
Bub really doesn't like me, in case you guys didn't know or you didn't read any of the comments about how much Bub hates me. Alright, so since you hate me so much, show me how terrible of a job you've done in this rear end.
I've tried to do everything as worse as possible, but yeah, no, the back end's pretty much done.
I'll be like, hey Bub, what'd you do here?
It's all Lexan, it's all trimmed in, it's fuel cells in, all the panels are in, it's all clear coated so it won't oxidize and get old looking.
And then this is paint underneath. This is how they get the cool little black line. So
gotta make it look OEM, yo.
Looks so legit.
It's a surge tank. It's a tank so that all the air gathers into that, so that it keeps all the air out of the radiator. So basically, high point is where your air is going to get trapped, and that's where you want it. Your main fill will be here, and you just top it off from here.
I don't remember what was assembled in the rear last time, but we definitely didn't have brakes or rotors on there. I do notice a lot of people are kind of a little bit confused why we went with Z32 brakes over like some crazy expensive ones. Do you want to shed a little bit of insight why you guys love the Z32 so much?
They're cheap and they're readily available and they work great. We've always used them on all the race cars. With drifting, using big brakes, it's overkill. I mean, if you're doing road racing, sure, it makes sense. You're doing 150 into a corner, you want to slow down. With drifting, you're using handbrake, and the two pots work just fine. One
thing that I've noticed too, when you start getting into the bigger brakes and everything, it kind of complicates things trying to get the right bias and trying to get it to feel right. Like my S13, where I have the CTSV calipers, stops really well, but for whatever reason I can't get it to feel right when I'm tandeming. Whereas that like S13 that I drove in Wisconsin just had Z32 brakes, that felt awesome. And since it's kind of tried and true for their setups, I figured we'd do that. Easy enough to change brakes down the road, but I thought that's something that we should probably address in regards to the setup on the car. The car does have a full fire suppression system. I was admiring earlier how nice the hard lines came out. Bub was explaining to me how the actual placement of the nozzle is really important, because obviously you don't want it spraying near any electronics because it will ruin the car. There's one that goes into the rear of the car by the fuel area, one for the cabin, and then there's one in the engine bay.
You have to have that placement via FD rules. Being we did an FD card, that's how you want to do it.
We're hoping we can actually just sell this to Christoph Blues. That's our goal with the car. We're gonna go demo it, and I think that it's gonna perform better than his, what's his car called? The
Eurofighter.
If you did notice any of the posts on Instagram, or Bub has been posting to his Instagram, this car has nitrous. Now, do you want me to explain the whole deal behind the nitrous in the car, or do you want me to explain?
Nitrous is really great for spooling up the low end of the turbo. You want to get rid of the lag as much as you can. Having low end torque, it just gives you a lot of advantage coming off of a line or coming out of a high speed drift and you have to slow down and then get back in the throttle. If you don't have that low end torque, you're just going to bog the car out, probably fall out of the drift, and then you're gonna be struggling on the track.
So is this a new thing? Because I feel like I've just started hearing about this more recently in the past like couple years, or is it because I'm like new to the whole drifting scene?
It's not really new, but it's a formula that a lot of people have started to come up with that you do want that low end torque. That's why V8s do so well in drifting, because they have that lower end torque. With the straight sixes, you just don't have that torque. So to make up for it, you use nitrous. I'm pretty sure everybody who has a straight 6 and FD is still using nitrous, including us.
So because of the fact that nitrous has kind of been popularized by media as like the thing where like you press the button and it makes you go fast, this is not that. This is basically going to be on, usually it's programmed what, like full throttle between a certain RPM range, it will engage?
Yeah, you program it for specific throttle position and boost, and I don't remember the other setting right off the top of my head.
Once you start hitting enough boost, the nitrous goes off, because we don't need to make more power with it. It's just like a 75 shot, like you said, to just spool the turbo faster, so there's less lag, and ideally then I won't have to be clutch kicking the crap out of it and damaging drivetrain components, because this thing's going to be making dumb grip.
Exactly.
Dumb grip, bub. The bub plate?
It's a plate.
It's a plate. Probably one of the coolest things, or one of my favorite things on the car so far, is this plate the bub designed. So it obviously mounts the shifter for the sequential Samsonite strands, but it also has a similar handbrake setup to what I have in my S13, with ball bearings pressed in here. I think we showed the rod last time, didn't we? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Oh, well anyway, this is kind of like the same setup. So my S13 was actually based off the setup that he did in Kevin's car, and that's kind of where I got the idea for this, to have a rod to run back here to the master. It's just a nice, my camera didn't focus, stop laughing at me. You hate me. I'll have a nice little BMX grip on here, and everything's just nice and contained. One of the main reasons I went with the sequential is not because I didn't think I'd know how to shift. Well, I guess that is kind of the reason. What? Stop laughing at me. No, like, legitimately, you guys have seen how many issues I've had with misshifting recently in videos and stuff. So switching back and forth between right-hand drive and left-hand drive cars, I thought taking the variability out of having to shift a dog box, which is probably what we would have gone with, into the proper gear, and just having a sequential would hopefully eliminate some of that chance of error. Seem like good logic?
Sure.
And it's sick. Don't make fun of me, man, just because I want to have my stuff easier. This car is crazy. I can't wait to see what it's gonna look like all together. It's what? How much time do we have left? Like a month?
No, we have
less than a month.
Weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Well, yeah.
I think it's longer than 2 weeks.
No, it's 2 weeks.
Is it?
The car has to leave on the
26th. Yeah, and it's, yeah, you're right. That's crazy.
It's 20 days.
Wow. That's stressful. I should probably stop wasting time then. You'll hate me more. Now before I go and tell you guys that Tommy made this downpipe, I realized that I should probably clarify, since there's so many different Tommies in my videos. There's a Tommy that works at Injuku that's a really great fabricator that Bub puts on the job for some stuff. Do you want to go into a little bit of turbo talk on why a 4-inch downpipe? Tommy did this, by the way, if you didn't understand the reference that I was making.
Tommy's actually done a lot of fabrication on your car. Like when I'm not here, he's the one still working on it. So I give him, put him in point of direction and say, let's do these things, and he does it. He's very, very good at it. He's been welding for a long time. But turbos like to breathe. So having a large backside, like 4-inch exhaust, it's going to increase the efficiency of the turbo. It's gonna bring it to its full potential. So we always do 4-inch on big powered motors. I mean, if you're over 600 horsepower, you're gonna want a 4-inch exhaust.
It looks pretty cool too. I think the only real other stuff that's new in terms of the engine bay, we got the stuff for the nitrous over there. I don't remember if we had any of the clamps or any of the intercooler piping finished before, but you guys remember I used to obsess over these Vibrant HD clamps. Basically an alternative to a silicone coupler that's extremely easy to remove and put back on. So this part's kind of like the sleeve that goes over here, and there's 2 O-rings. What do these hold, like 60 pounds of boost or something crazy?
Something ridiculous like that. It's a very simple version of a Wiggins clamp.
And if you didn't notice, I just literally took apart an intercooler pipe with one hand. So when you're on the track and if something goes wrong, you gotta pull the intake manifold or pull the intercooler off because I crashed into something. That saves a lot of time.
Try not to crash.
Yeah. It's gonna happen though. Like, I think that's an important thing to, how many times has Kevin crashed his car?
Too many times.
Yeah, these cars are really built to crash, and that's why everything's designed the way that it is. So when you do crash, it's not gonna be a nightmare. Because if you built this car and I drove it like a little girl, people don't like when I say little girl, they've been getting on my case about that. If you built this car and I drove it as an inconfident little boy, notice I didn't say little girl because you guys don't like it when I say that. Some little girls shred S15s, I guess. that wouldn't be cool.
No, actually, it's built to be a race car, so you should treat it like a race car.
And when you drive at your limit, there's a good chance you're gonna crash, so it's inevitable.
It happens.
And that's why we chose Vibrant HD clamps. If you notice, I did test fit one of the SP3s that I have. I think you guys saw these like laying in my room a while back. I think I talked about it in another video, but my friend Brad had these laying around. He's been sitting on them for 3 years. They're pretty cool. They don't make them anymore, and they have the Spectrum silver finish. But they do look like they should fit perfectly once we have the over fenders on there. Might need a little bit of a spacer, but it should look pretty cool. Another reminder too, I understand it's kind of confusing because it looks like the car is going to stay this color because a lot of the parts are this color. This is not paint. This is powder coat. The car is powder coated. This will get wrap over it, as well as all the body panels and everything. Color wise, we know what we're gonna do, but we gotta keep some stuff a secret. Gotta keep a mystery. Gotta keep a little bit of a mystery. Another exciting news over here, because if you don't remember, that's a mock-up engine. That's not my engine. I don't remember whose engine it is, but it's a mock-up engine. My engine's done, and it's ready to go in. So it's chilling over here. I don't remember if we talked about it with you guys or not. One of our friends who's like really familiar with 2Js actually went through it and made sure everything was still good since it had been sitting for a while. It's good to go now. It's ready to go in, and I think we're feeling pretty confident in it. 1200 horsepower or bust? I think it could handle that much, don't you though? If we had the right turbo, like probably 1,000 easy.
If it was built for that kind of power, yeah, it would have. But I mean, the cams, turbo, some other things, you're gonna be lacking that number.
I don't want that much. I want like maybe like 400 NA.
And good luck with that one.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. It's probably gonna make, what do you think, Bub? Like 700-ish? 750?
I would say probably somewhere 750.
Yeah, that's all. And that'll just be in our chill low boost setting.
That'll be low boost.
Yeah, it really will.
Definitely be low boost.
That's crazy. All right, guys. Well, it's pretty late here. I literally just drove straight here from the airport. I'm sure Bub needs to go home and eat dinner or feed his dog or... Oh, pack. Oh yeah, you leave for FD tomorrow, huh?
I leave tomorrow for FD.
Yeah, so still a ton going on with the car. You get back when, like this weekend or early next week? Sunday morning, and I'll be here for a decent amount of time. I'm not leaving anytime soon. Well, too soon. I got another like thing that I'll talk about in another video or something. I don't even know. We'll be back here, probably film another update next week or something. Hopefully we'll be a little bit less zombie and Bub will hate me a little bit less. Keep commenting about how much Bub hates me because he loves it. Literally all the guys at Injuku sit on their computers and they read the comments of Bub like, why do you hate Adam so much? Is that true or is that true?
I do not hate you.
No, I meant that they all read the comments too.
Oh yeah. We've been having fun with the comments.
Yeah, so we do. As always, I tell you guys that I read all your comments. Bub reads all your comments. Everyone at Injuku reads all your comments. So if you guys order anything from Injuku, it's taking a while to comments, probably because they're reading all the comments of you guys talking. No, I'm just kidding. That doesn't happen. But anyway, speaking of that, if you guys want a discount code for free shipping on anything you order from Injuku, I'll put that in the description box. It excludes very large items though that would make sense to not be free shipping. Like I don't even know freight. Big things. Like if you're ordering a Tomei Stroker RB, probably not going to be. It was probably free shipping because that's pretty expensive. I don't know. Don't quote me on anything. Body kits. That's a better example. Body kits. All right, guys. So that is it for the S15. Yeah, it's cool. It's going to be rad, and I'm very excited. Thank you, Bub.
Sure.
Thank you, other Tommy. Tommy number 3. Thank you, Injuku. Okay, bye.
Yes,